Hello and welcome to this third session of 5 for Hearts of Wulin Mystery of the Puzzle Sword. This is a adaptation of elements from Brindlewood Bay and a little bit from Apocalypse Keys to do a mystery scenario within the Hearts of Wulin setting, emulating things like Ancient Detective, which is on YouTube. And if you haven't seen it, you should see it. If you like wuxia drama at all, it's really good. Like it's great. I do love it. My name is Lowell, pronouns he, him, and this session is part of the Gauntlet Gaming Calendar, which is an online gaming club. And we're playing this game that I designed the mechanics for. We're going to be rolling along with that. So we're going to check in with each of the players, see where they are, terms of stats being marked, in terms of entanglements, and in terms of advancements. Let's start with Blue Mountain Scholar. You have one element marked, and I think you got enough last time to take an advance. Did you take that?
No. Yes, wait, I had taken it the time before, I think.
I think we didn't get XP last time.
I didn't give XP at the end of session, did I?
No, we have to do it now.
Okay, so let's rewind just a moment here. So Sherry, did you interact with one or both of your entanglements last time? Did you think?
Fine question. I certainly. Iron Lotus disappeared immediately. So no. Though I do have an inkling that the man that I am intrigued in is here, of course, or maybe more than an inkling.
So I think you engaged with one, but not both. So
Yeah.
Let's say 2 points.
Okay, that sounds good.
And are you still happy with those entanglements?
I mean, I like them. I just need a few more people kind of in my sphere. So that's
okay.
just, I guess I have to throw myself in the middle of other people's scenes. So there you go.
That's what you got to do. And you are completely out of bonds. Just
yes,
saying.
I am.
Iron Lotus, let's come to you. You have 2 elements marked, and you're at 7 out of 8. Looking at your entanglements, do you feel that you hit one or both of those entanglements last time?
Let's see. Yeah, I did have that moment with Baoshi and with Songda, so I think I hit both.
Okay, so that's 3 points.
Nice.
And are you happy with both those entanglements as they stand?
I am.
Okay. Then let's come over to Baoshi. It looks like you are clean as a whistle, no elements marked.
Sure.
And you still got some bonds left. Do you think you hit one or both of those entanglements last time?
I think I hit them both.
I'm pretty sure you did. Yes, we had scenes you interacted with both of them, so that's 3 points. Meaning we just need to hit you with an inner conflict tonight to get you that next
Pop
point.
over.
Are you still good with those entanglements?
I am.
Okay.
I could see the first one evolving in the near future, but I am happy with them now.
Okay. And last, but certainly not least, we have our mighty historian, Songda, who has 2 elements marked.
So that's about normal.
That's about normal. But you still got some bonds left, which is not normal.
No, it's not. It's nice.
And do you think you interacted with one or both of your entanglements?
I think one, my romantic last time.
Okay. Yeah, I would definitely agree with that. So that's 2 points for you. Are you still good with those entanglements, or do you want to do tweaks? If it realize you can also do tweaks like on a temporary basis. Like you could temporarily change your general entanglement if you wanted to hit something here, or you could keep it as it is. It's up to you.
I think I'm going to keep it as it is for the moment.
So last time you interacted with quite a number of people. You saw some pieces going around about real questions about who was going to take over. You met some of the people who were involved at the highest levels here within the society, and started to see some of the cracks that were going on there. You certainly heard Lord Yao making some demands of Master Fan earlier, and you got some perspective on some people. There are a number of the members of the society that you haven't really interacted with. The one I would say right now is you don't know who Little Plum is, you don't know who Grave of Saints is, but the others so far you do. But we'll come back to that. There were various interactions, movements around. Xiao Chun was very effusive and was very happy to let Song Da read her fan fiction. And there was of course, some delightful character interactions in the hot springs. But at the end of things, you were speaking with Chen Rogang. This is very late after midnight, just, a few people out still drinking and eating there. Chen Rogang came to you and said that her friend, First Orchid, is missing, is unable to find her. And Bao Shi was asking her about why would her friend might have been wandering around for some reason, but suggested that. And it was at that point that you heard a hue and a cry from across the courtyards of this place, and someone shouted that Master Fan has been murdered. So let's start with Blue Mountain Scholar or Lost Song Shanai. I think you're Shanai right now, right?
Certainly in that moment I was, yes.
Okay, so what do you do?
Well, one, I'm looking to see who Master Fan is, if we could
She is the
essentially-
leader of the Verdant Sword Alliance.
Oh my gosh, I thought when you said it that you meant Feng. So, okay. So Master Fan. Oh goodness.
Yes.
I think since we hear the shout and the hue and the cry, I go there immediately so that I have the chance to see things before any evidence can be removed.
Absolutely. Let me check about your moves, if there's anything that so you take off rushing up there. You're not worried about your identity right this second. And I'm assuming that the others, Lotus, Songda, Baoshi, you are also following in Shanai's wake. Does that seem right? So you will get up to what appears to be sort of the hall that is Master Fan's sort of private meeting reception hall. You see that there are servants there. There are a number of members of the Verdant Sword Alliance household there. You'll see that Lord Yao is in his bedclothes and roused. And you will see that a hurriedly putting themselves together Magistrate Delan and a very open-shirted Guard Captain Lin have rushed to the scene, and there are people in there, moving around in that room right now. Blue Mountain Scholar, what do you want to do? Because there's sort of a chaos and panic. There are servants in here. It's kind of a mess. Like they're trampling around. What do you want to do?
And I do think that she turns to Lord Yao, and she says, "Pardon, I am the niece of Blue Mountain Scholar. She's, please, we must secure the site so that we have some chance of guessing or finding who it is that has murdered Master Fawn. And she appeals to his authority in that.
Let's have you roll hearts and minds.
Okay. Let's see here. Certainly, I'll happily do that. All I have to do is figure out what I have available to me. Oh gosh, I think that this is about control, isn't it? So I guess I'll use metal.
Okay.
So I'm rolling 2d6 and I'm adding 1. So expect this to go terribly, and it does. So I get a 6 on that.
Are you going to spend a bond?
If I had one, I would.
He turns to you and he says, "How dare you speak with me to such disrespect? Guards, seize this woman." And a guard steps forward and grabs you and starts dragging you out of the room. Iron Lotus. Also mark your medal there. Iron Lotus, you see this, like Lost Song Janai tries to step up and like say a reasonable thing to Lord Yao, but he is in a high affect right now, and he immediately has her dragged away. You're not sure if he's going to have her clapped in irons or something.
Okay, I'm gonna say something that's gonna make Tyler very upset. So I think as Golden Peony, I throw myself on top of Lost Song Janai and I say, "Oh, she doesn't know what she speaks. I am so sorry, dear master." Like I'm trying to appeal to the patriarchy here.
Absolutely. So I'm going to let you use the +1 bonus that you have from In Masculine Guise here.
Ooh, nice.
I think that's appropriate. Go ahead and what do you want to roll hearts and minds with?
Yeah, I think I'm going to use water because I'm trying to be flexible in the moment.
Okay.
And just like adapt to the situation. So let me just, and I forgot to open the dice roller because I'm terrible. Okay. Da. Wow, that is, it barely hit it at a 7 with a +3. That's okay. We hit a 7. That's what matters.
So I think that he will look down at you and kind of pauses and
I'm very pretty.
very
Like the
pretty.
hair.
I imagine it's a little bit off the shoulder kind of thing.
Oh yeah.
And I do think you see him, there's that brief moment of a leer before he quiets that down in a really creepy way because he's much older than you. And he's like, fine, remove the women from the room. And he says women in a very diminutive of like, not Wulin, you know, in a way to say that to be more as if he's being particularly grandiose. You see Magistrate Delan like bristles. She is furious right now, as are some of the other Wulin women who are present. But Lord Yao doesn't take any notice of it. But you can grab Janai and move off to the side.
Yeah, and I make sure to point it out, and I say, "Oh, thank you so much, Master." Like to really rub in the whole like, "Thank you for treating us this way," right? To make all the other women upset. As I take
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
to the side. And I whisper to La Shang and I must find my brother. He is far better suited to this than we women are. I say as I take my leave.
And I give you crazy guys.
And I give you that reassuring pat of like, I understand that you're trying to fight against this oppressive system, but you know. Sorry, Tyler.
Bao Shi.
Having watched that, I think I'm going to take a somewhat different approach and move over to Magistrate Delan and Magistrate. she was absolutely correct. If we allow people to traipse about, I'm not entirely sure we will have the evidence we need. We really should try to preserve as much as we can.
And she will nod, and she will say, as Lord Yao has indicated, any who are non-essential should leave from this room. Please clear the way so that investigators and colleagues, and he gestures to you and Songda, can look over the scene before things get too much out of order. And she will, Lord Yao, hearing his name used in a very benevolent way, will say, yes, let's clear away. There's definitely some reluctance. You will see that right now, Xiao Chun is there, and she seems very reluctant to leave. And Pine, who you met earlier, is kind of stands his ground like someone from the house needs to be here to observe this. But you can get the scene kind of settled out so there are fewer people in here. You are still there, Baoshi, Songda, and kind of clears out the area. What you will see before I come to Songda is, there are candles that are lit, and you will see that Master Fan is laying there, and it looks, just at initial glance, judging by the blood that is on the back of her robe, that she has been stabbed. It's unclear whether this is stabbed from the front or stabbed from the back. It's unclear right now exactly what happened. The room is pretty clean. But Songda, what do you want to do?
I think Songda has looked around, especially as Golden Peony led Shunai out and realized that, of course, the great detective himself is here, but without an assistant? That can't stand. Now's my chance. And so
It's my time.
Songda will dive over and just in that sort of blur from off camera appear next to Bao Shi and say, Mr. Bao, where should we start our investigation? His pad out and his quill ready to go.
Well, be as observant as possible and first take in the scene.
Yes.
And
what should I do with the scene?
No. Release the scene.
Release the scene.
Yes. You're going a bit blue, son.
You'll see Magistrate Delon will step forward, and she will turn the body over for examination, kind of look, and she will say, there's no wound on her front. It appears that she was stabbed from behind. And she'll kind of open up the tear a little to kind of show you, say, not a large blade, could be a saber, could be a dagger. She is a little cool, so she has been dead for a bit.
Where is the wound?
It is sort of below the scapula. Essentially, looks like it came in and probably didn't pierce the heart, but probably nicked it.
Hmm. And I'll probably have a scroll case out by this point and be tapping myself on the chin. That's a nervous habit I have when I'm observing.
And Lord Yao, you'll see him kind of looking around the room. He's definitely looking at the body. He's definitely looking for something as he's kind of going around like he's examining the scene.
Hmm.
Let me figure out about Janai and Lotus, how that was going to work, and then we'll come back to maybe some interrogations or studies or so on. Janai, what is your mood right now?
I think there's this level that one might call fury, and then there's this level couple steps beyond that. Yes, and I think that she's there. She's kind of gone dread silent, and yeah, I think she walks away from the scene calmly until she gets to one of the walls, and then she lightfoots up to the top of that and uses the map to just essentially traverse all of that area along the top of the walls as quickly as possible to get back to her rooms.
Absolutely. Let's have you do an overcome.
Okay.
And I have a reason for this.
Okay. Okay. So sure. Let's see here. I can roll with wood. That's a +0.
Right.
Gives me a 7.
You're 7. You will lightfoot up and start to move. And there is a moment when the moonlight catches you, and you will see down along the roof line, there is another figure up on the roof. And he sort of starts when he sees you. And you realize you haven't seen this guy before. He's dressed a little roughly for a Wulin. Maybe he's from the south, maybe he's from the further west. But the second that he kind of sees you pop up here, he swings around and kind of makes a beeline for the back part of the estate where like the further forest and the mountain springs and things are.
Can I get enough height so I can see what path he takes?
I think so. I think you can kind of see and kind of tell which way he's going.
Okay. I sort of make a note of that.
Okay. He is present on C61.
Okay.
But you can spot that.
Did he have the bird with him?
No, he didn't have the bird with him.
Oh, okay.
Caca.
Yeah, exactly. At night. So, okay. All right. Yeah. So essentially she, gets that height, and then as soon as she marks where they, they've gone, she drops back down onto the balcony, goes through the window, and
Gets her
then it's
disguise
just-
together.
No, I would say then Blue Mountain Scholar sort of is clearly been alerted, and he comes out to see what's going on.
Okay. Iron Lotus. You've managed to create a certain amount of brush fire between Lord Yao and some of the senior women present. And you've gotten Loksong Janai out of there. What's your next step?
Well, I do have painted skin, so I think it would be fairly easy for me to transform bits and pieces, right? I think like we reveal that Iron Lotus spent some time hiding bits and pieces of clothing all over the estate in case that they need to change
Imagine there's some reversing of the clothes that you do have on. There's the pulling out of things.
Oh,
uh,
yes, yes.
and
And dramatic
miraculous.
whirling, right?
And
So,
then you can step there. You will see, as you kind of look in, you'll see that Song Da has positioned himself right at Bao Shi's elbow.
oh, that's yeah, Iron Lotus isn't the type to I do position myself on Songda's elbow, and I say, you look quite charming as a detective, Songda.
Oh, Iron Lotus. Where have you been? There was a murder.
And I remember to go for a moment. And I say, yes, my sister came to inform me, but it's so shocking to see in person for the first time.
Yes, I've been here supporting and assisting and helping the detective in his very intensive investigation so far.
Thank you for taking care of Master Bao Shi when I lack the ability to do so. I appreciate it, Songda.
Well, it's the joy of people like us to be able to assist the great ones in their work in the world, isn't it?
Absolutely. And yet, uh, I wouldn't quite sell yourself so short, Songda. I say as I sort of like push forward and I like just elbow you at the back. Tell me, what do you see? And I'm trying to get Songda to study what's going on or whatever he would like to do.
Song Da,
Um, I do have the most recent move I picked up is Smiling Proud Wanderer. Once per scene, ask a study question without rolling.
okay.
That you said it was too many tabs. Lord Yao that seemed like he was looking for something.
Yes.
Where is that thing he's looking for? What's he looking for?
You notice him move around the room. He like eyes the papers, kind of does a quick glance over that where there are scrolls here. But you see him check. There are a number of swords of the clan that are here on the wall and marked and things like that. And you see him very carefully check all of them. And like he's certainly looking for a particular sword, and you see he's annoyed that it is not here.
Hmm. Uh, I think as he's coming up towards like the last of the holsters, scabbards, Songda will just like zip and sort of suddenly be in front of him, looking at the scabbard itself. Is there? Did you find a clue? Are you missing something?
Were you?
Ah, I am, of course, Songda of the Bureau of Legends. Noted historian.
We already have one historian here, the sister.
Ah, but she seems to be lacking at the scene of all of the action. Luckily, you have Songda here to cover everything. So, you were making a vital discovery in the case, I believe.
I am examining the room, Master Songda.
The room, yes. And what have you observed so far?
I would like you to roll a move of some kind, hearts and minds, or if you want to push one of your own moves, there's a playbook move of yours that you want to trigger here.
Uh, this is a new person.
Yeah.
Can I try my historian?
Yeah, I think that makes sense. This is the first time you've been introduced to him.
Yes. So, oh dear, I have to roll things.
Yes.
I definitely have this tab already open and ready to go, and I'm just explaining this to all of you, not
It's for those at home
stalling
who are
for
listening.
time. Yeah, exactly. It's a visual audio medium, something. Oh, look, my dice are ready. Um,
There we go.
let's see. This is fire. This is very off the cuff, in the moment, spontaneous.
Absolutely. Use your style move.
What?
Your style element.
Well, that's a 7. I don't know why you're bringing up style elements. It's just extraneous nonsense, obviously. So let's see. 7 to 9. They reveal a secret about someone or something in the Wulin world. This
How
movie-
about this? You see him stop, and he says, I wondered if there was the puzzle, if there was a sword here, and reveals that he was in fact looking for one of the puzzle swords.
Ah, yes. A murder like this, unknown in such a crowded place, is a puzzle to be solved.
His eyes narrow when you say that. We will talk later, historian.
Of course.
I may have to
Yes,
call upon your knowledge.
That is what the Bureau is for, a repository for those who seek enlightenment.
I see him pause like he's about to say something snarky, but he nods and opts not to be rude to you. Baoshi. Lord Yao is occupied. Magistrate Delan, you see her go over and she says to the guard captain, she says, go. Make sure all of the gates are secured. Make an inventory of all the guests. Make sure that they are present. If someone is not present, I want to know about it. Find whoever is overseeing the servants, get a list of the servants, and see if any of those are missing. Take whatever you need from the staff to do this, but do this quickly before anything can change here in the situation. And Lynn kind of pulls his shirt up and kind of buttons it there and nods. What do you do, Baoshi?
I think since the magistrate has moved away from Master Fang's body, I'm going to move over to it, and I think my scroll case, I twist something on it, and it sort of telescopes out like a little pointer. And I begin using it and kneeling down to begin. I'm going to examine the body.
Okay. So this feels like a study move?
Yeah. And let's see here. Calculation, reflection. I think it's probably, let's see, probably going to be water.
Okay.
That's probably what it looks like. All right, rolling. It's a 9.
Okay. Are you
I
happy
think
with the 9?
I'm gonna burn a bond.
Okay. That will give you 2 hold.
Yeah, I guess I'm burning my iron lotus bond.
So with 2 hold, you could reveal details, you could ask questions, or if you want to spend both hold, you could also gain a clue.
Yeah. Let's see. Been nice to reveal a detail, but I think I need a clue. I'm going to gain a clue.
I think that you will be surprised as you're kind of looking at the body that she has a scroll case that is with her, and kind of look and you open it up and you will see that there is a copy of Song Da's statement about the House of Sun mystery. Now, you know, from having spoken with Song Da, that records like these, especially freshly made ones, aren't generally distributed. So it's unusual that she would have this, that a copy has been made, and it looks like she has this, and probably, judging by the earmarking on it, has been through it a couple of times.
All righty. Very interesting.
Magistrate Delan will move over to where you're at. Did you find anything, Bashi?
I think I'm going to try and keep that from being
Oh, yeah.
noticeable.
This is your foil. This is not a great detective. This is your Lestrade. So when you go, oh, nothing, or kind of tuck that away, she doesn't even notice.
Okay, yeah, I think that slides up the sleeve. Can I ask a question that I don't know if this is a study more of me kind of, does this strike look like, is this a pretty precise strike? Would this be like a killing blow, or does this seem like someone?
That's another study move.
That would be another
That'd
study
be another
move.
study
Okay.
move. Let's bring Blue Mountain Scholar onto scene,
Yeah,
and we'll
yeah,
kind of
yeah.
do a once around on that. Blue Mountain Scholar grumbling. Yeah, and there's that thing where you kind of have to keep your pace a little moderate going back, so nobody's, because there's a lot of people out and about.
And one of the ways that I can speed myself up is I find someone who is curious about that thing and heading over there. And I'm going to guess that, in fact, the guy that I talked to, Silver,
Well, actually,
name.
you will see moving over that way, Songbird Yun.
Oh, really?
Hey, you can see him kind of start when he sees you.
And I said, Songbird, it has been some time since we have spoken. How have you been? And I gather with him, I go, well, of course, I understand that Master Fawn has been murdered. It's unfortunate that we always meet in these circumstances, but I sort of resolutely walk along with him. And since he's younger and he's keeping a faster pace, I can do that without it really being particularly noticeable to anyone that I'm going faster than I ought to.
And it gets faster because he is trying to walk a little bit ahead of you, and yet
Yes.
you're keeping pace with him.
Exactly.
Because as I heard that someone was murdered, it's Master Fawn.
Absolutely. And he goes, at least that is what my niece told me. She was pushed out from the situation by, what is that guy's name? He sort of looks and says, Imperial,
Lord Yun, Lord Yao.
Oh, yeah, yes, yeah.
Oh. And you see him mulling something over, like clearly this.
And I lean towards him and I say, do you think it has something to do with the puzzle swords?
Does this feel like a study move?
Sure, we could do that. Sure. Yeah, let's do that. Let's see here. I guess I would use water because I've kind of,
Sure.
wait, not water, because that's
aware.
yeah, I guess I will use my style move.
Please put it at risk.
Yeah, well, I have some alternatives if it goes terribly wrong, but sorry, the cat is got its paw on the keyboard, so everything I touch starts disappearing into things. Okay, so there's my character. And that thing that I have is earth. So we use earth, which is about focus and presence. I sort of hold him in my thing while we talk so that he has to respond to me and I can see how nervous and stuff he is. So I'm rolling it, adding 3.
Okay,
so that gives me a 7. No, that seems
so
preferable.
that's one hold.
Yeah, that is one hold.
So I think you can see that he is a freaked out that you mentioned the puzzle sword, but you have the sense that maybe like he was planning on talking with Master Fawn about the puzzle sword, like that, like it's clearly his business, and that's what he's bothered by, is that she's dead and he didn't get a chance to talk to her. Does that seem like reasonable information?
I mean, I already knew that. That's why I asked him the question. So I would say it's a little slim.
Okay, I think that's fair. I think that you will see him, like he sees that kind of like that conversation comes out, and you will see kind of moving in parallel over this way, this very rough looking gentleman with long, wild, unkempt hair, but with the markers of the Verdant Sword Alliance. And you see Songbird Yun catches, like, sees that he's there and like moves back away, like clearly doesn't want mention of the puzzle sword to be made in the presence of this guy who you guess is Yi Wrong. And he says, "What do you know of that?"
And he says, I am Blue Mountain Scholar. I know of many things. What do you wish to know? And he says, sorry, I am at a disadvantage. I am newly arrived and I was a little tired once I got here.
This is not a matter to be spoken of here. We will talk. I will speak with you later about this.
That seems more than reasonable. And he goes, where shall I meet you then?
Tomorrow midday, there is a pavilion in the Winding Forest. We'll meet you there.
And then I will bow sort of formally and essentially raise my hands and say, I will meet you there.
Iron Lotus, let's come back to you, and then we'll kind of continue our cycle around. What do you want to do?
Yeah, I think I too shall study the situation. And I'm looking for potential trouble
Okay.
so that I can also activate a taste of cold steel in this study move.
Well, let's have you roll.
Yeah, so in particular, I'm like trying to study like the different people and trying to pick up what I can. So I'm going to, I think this is still water. I'm using my awareness. Okay. A 12.
A 12.
Yeah.
So look at those options that you have. That gives you 3 hold.
Yeah, I'm going to.
Whoops, did the study move get erased?
Oh yeah, it did. Here. Ooh.
That may have been Tomo.
Okay.
Sorry. Oh yeah,
Could you
that was
could you
Tomo.
undo it? Could you
I can
undo it from
try.
your end, Sherry?
I can
Yeah,
try.
yeah, it'll keep doing it until it shows up again.
Okay. Did it show up again? Because it
No.
took me out of that screen. Okay. I'm sorry. I will keep on trying. I just got to get back there.
Yeah, no worries.
Wow, it's flash. There it
Oh,
was.
there it
There we
is.
go.
There it
Two.
is. Perfect. As someone who has done that repeatedly with
I-
Google
Oh.
Sheets
The
and
cat,
Drive and
the cat
Docs.
is, I wasn't kidding when I was saying she was blanking everything out.
Let's see. With 3 hold, I'm going to gain a clue associated with the mystery facet and rewrite a facet.
Okay.
Let's test the mechanic.
So let's give you that. You will see that Master Pine is there.
Mhm.
And you see him look over at one of the servants who is kind of standing outside the doorway, this young woman. And you see, like, he gives her a look like no, you should not be here. You need to go. And you see that servant kind of step back, and servant's not who she seems to be, because she lightnesses in a way that you haven't seen. Like, she steps into the crowd and then she shifts and she's gone.
Which I can recognize. I have done the same myself. Who was she talking to again?
So Pine is one of the senior people here. That's the sort of the one that Tyler spoke with last time, the one who is sometimes more emotional than they need to be, but also the one who clamps down on the unorthodox. And the servant, her picture is there in A61.
Ooh, okay. A61. Ooh, mysterious. Okay.
So the clue is the servant is not who they seem.
Yeah. Ooh, okay. I'm going to connect it. Let's see. Lord Yao. I'm going to say I'm connecting the servant to
And what it is Master Pine saw the servant out there and
Uh-huh,
clearly
uh-huh.
gave that servant a look of, you need, like, clearly communicated to the servant that they shouldn't be here, the servant shouldn't, and they needed to go.
Oh, okay. And the servant, okay. So it was Master Pine. Yeah, I'm going to say, I'm just looking at the wording associated
Sure.
with the mystery facet. I'm going to rewrite the facet.
Okay.
Instead of who is the killer, why has the killer taken the puzzle sword?
Interesting. Okay. So the question still exists of who is the killer, but now it's established pretty clear that the killer has taken the puzzle sword that was present. We don't know why.
And I think the way I get that is like, I think there's because I'm trying to justify it in my mind, right? Like how Iron Lotus was able to rewrite that facet. And I think like I hear that part of the conversation between the two of them, if that makes sense, like Master Pine themselves.
Okay, so
say,
Master Pine steps like
Yeah.
isn't just eye contact, but Master Pine steps over there, and you hear him say, them say, "You need to leave. You need to go. Whoever killed her took the puzzle sword." Does that seem fair?
Very fun. Ooh, sorry. And also I hate to like hog so much, but I also, as a taste of cold steel,
Sure.
I get to freely ask one of the two questions in addition to the regular hold. What trouble was the servant looking to cause?
The servant is impatient with her role. The servant is clearly impatient being here as the servant and has like grander ambitions or a sense of higher status, and that they might have been coming up here to maybe make a revelation to like cause problems, but once they're up here and realize, they clearly change their mind.
Excellent.
Bao Shi.
Yes.
Let's do you, and then let's do Song Da, and then we might move the scene forward a little.
All right. If I'm able, I'd like to study the wound.
Oh, sure, absolutely. Let's go ahead and have you make that study roll.
Right. I think this time I'm probably looking at metal. I'm trying to calculate what was used, how it was used, maybe even like height of handedness. Those seem detective-y. So, rolling. That's 6. I think I'm going to have to earn another bond.
I will remind everybody after this that you can also mark your shadows
Shadows.
to raise a full success level. That's probably not min-max
Best for
efficient
this.
right now,
Yeah.
but definitely spending a bond will get you to the one hold.
I guess I'm going to spend my bond with high. It's a shame to lose that. All right. So a 7.
Okay. So it looks to you like the wound was done by somebody with skill, not like the super expert skill, but clearly some Wulin. This is not the act of just somebody coming in and stabbing them. It's a wound done close up, a little bit of an upward angle. So either someone shorter or someone kind of, crouching, moving in that way, or even somebody like, hiding and coming out of hiding. But the other thing you realize is you don't think that she was killed here. You think that there's not enough blood. She may have died here, but and maybe she made her way here, or she was killed somewhere else and brought here.
Now, if she made her way here, she probably would have had a blood trail, perhaps. But I look at Magistrate Delon and say, well, it would appear we are looking for someone with skill. This was a well-placed stroke. And, Magistrate, I don't think the act occurred here.
You see her start to do that thing where she's just going to, out of habit, disagree with you. And she goes, well, we'll make a note of that. I'm more concerned about who is present or not present on the grounds at this moment.
Of course, Magistrate. Perhaps you should look into that.
And she'll bow. She doesn't say anything, but grits her teeth and we'll head off to do that. It does suggest to you, I mean, that if she traveled or she moved, what has changed in the atmosphere around here in the situation. Song Da, what are you doing?
So I think, having sort of driven off Lord Yao for the moment, I am sort of interested in what he was investigating, especially if he was looking for a puzzle sword. So I think Song Da is gonna do a check back over, a sort of deeper look at the swords and scabbards that he was looking through.
Sure, let's have you make a study roll.
Sure. Let's see. I think this is water. This is awareness, little tiny details. I've got like the little Baoshi on my shoulder, whispering and pointing out things to look at, sort of thing.
It's a clue.
That's a 12.
That is 12. So that's 3 hold. Could do a clue and a question.
I think I want to reveal a detail
Okay.
and then probably do a clue.
Sure. What's the detail you want to reveal?
I think all of the weapons in here, they're part of this room. They're part of the decor. Any of them would be noticed. So, in taking the puzzle sword, they couldn't risk taking the scabbard. So I think I find where someone has traded a sword into a scabbard that doesn't fit it to sort of like keep the visual look going, and I see
Absolutely.
some mark in the scabbard that tells me like this held one of the puzzle swords.
Yeah. It can tell, you see the pattern. You've seen a version of this pattern before because you saw that Chen Rogong had that. And so you can recognize that. And I think that will lead you to look around and you will find that there's a sort of imperial table, low table that's there. And you kind of look around where the small rugs are and so on, and see that there is a disturbance. And while the others are occupied, you kind of pop open and you'll find a secret compartment underneath the imperial table. And there is an exquisite, beautifully made counterfeit puzzle sword. Like, you look at it and you're like, oh, it's a puzzle sword. And then you kind of look again and you're like, no, this is a counterfeit.
Wow. Okay, that's cool. So I think like how that goes is he sees the sword on the wall and he sort of pulls it out of the scabbard and he sees the mark in the scabbard. And when nobody's looking, he sort of like slips it up one sleeve of his black robe. So he's sort of like holding one arm a little bit awkwardly as he's holding it up there. And then he notices the thing on the floor. So he kneels down very carefully and opens up the trapdoor and then tries to slip also the puzzle sword up in his robe, and I think just ends up like very stiffly and sort of like kid in too many ponchos tries to walk out of the parka, that's the word, out of the room without anyone noticing.
And we'll check on that when we come back from our break. Let's take our first break here. Let's take 10, and then we'll come back and continue on. We will kind of move forward a scene. We probably will let the swords go just as a joke there when you pull them out. But we'll move forward either a few hours or whatever to allow for some more time for NPC interactions and so on. So some time has passed. The house is in lockdown. The troops that Lord Yao brought have essentially cut off the way down the mountain. A number of them have also been sent into sort of the backwoods and mountains behind the estate to make sure that nobody is traveling out that way. Though that task is more difficult. They will do a head count, and they have fairly accurate records on who arrived, just because they had to place people for living quarters and so on. And of course, they've got notes on the servants here because they were all employed on site. And right now, the only person who is missing is First Orchid. And you can already hear that Magistrate Delan and Lord Yao are kind of like pointing to that as something significant. And they're starting to ask around about who was here with First Orchid, and you will hear that Chang Rogang's name is starting to get kind of circulated out. So that is where the situation is. Let's do a once around to have each of you interact with an NPC of your choice. And then let's bring the group together. Does that seem like a good way to do things? So we've been starting with Blue Mountain Scholar, La Song Jedi. What's a scene you want to call here?
Let's see here. I'm trying to think. I think that perhaps since I do know that Chang Rogang is going to be being looked at and all of this stuff, I will go to speak with them. And since you will stop and say, you know that we have no antipathy towards you. The whole matter of the puzzle swords is, or has been up until now, of no concern of ours, but clearly it is central to this mystery. And he stops and he goes, I am worried that First Orchid is trapped somewhere. I know that the two of you work together. What instructions was she working with?
I know that there is some connection between the puzzle sword and this location. Beyond that, I'm uncertain. She, much as she did at Master Sun's estate, was to spend the evening looking around, trying to recon, trying to assay the location. I know that she was going to look into the woods and to the springs and the sort of the forest at the back, but also the wing of the estate that has been blocked off.
Have a map that you'd begun working with.
Do you think that they will call me for questioning?
I'm almost certain they will.
Then I have a favor to ask of you.
All right.
If I go to them and I have the puzzle sword, I believe they will take it from me.
Yes. They are a group of people who think that they are all the most suited for whatever is to come.
You have always been true to me. I trust you in who you are.
He sort of looks a little surprised and straightens up.
And she will take the sword off of her side, and she will hand it to you. I will want this back. But you should hold this if it is a key to what is going on.
And he stops and says, what do you hope that it is? Do you want treasure? Do you want power?
I want answers.
And to what?
That I cannot tell you yet.
All right. But understand that it is almost certainly part of what has caused all of this.
The puzzle swords were put into the hands of persons who worked for the Verdant Sword Alliance, who did the things that the Verdant Sword Alliance did not wish to be associated with. And I know that you know Songbird Yon, but his family is part of the killers that the Sword Alliance kept, even during the time of the late master. And she will bow to you. I should go and present myself before they call for me.
I will speak for you where I may.
Thank you. Iron Lotus.
Yeah, I think who was it the Blue Mountain Scholar was talking to?
That was Cheng Rogong,
Oh, okay.
the person who has one of the puzzle swords, if not a couple of them, because what you know is actually that they can kind of fit together. And also the person who killed Songbird Young's brother.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Oof. Yeah, I think I'm going to try to track down that servant that I saw sneak off.
All right. I think you will find her, but she's not alone. And you're like looking around, moving around Iron Lotus, and you see her, and she's kind of talking. She has her head down. She's bowed in that way that's she's talking to a superior. But you will see Sun Yang, the nice young man who's here. You see him talking to her, and he's speaking, and he has like a little piece of paper, and it looks like he might have written her a poem kind of thing.
I think I need to take this move. Where is that move I was looking at? I'm gonna take Lover's Arrow from the villain.
Okay.
So let's see. I'm just gonna keep that for now. I won't use it
Sure.
exactly, but I do like step in and I say, my dear friend, it seems that you found quite a I'm trying to like sort of like very subtly like hint at what's going on between the two without putting Sung Young in a too embarrassing position, right?
Let me ask you
So-
this. Do you think Sun Young picks up on that?
No, but I think she does.
Yeah,
Right?
and you will see her blush. Like she actually blushes, and kind of looks away, and he's clearly oblivious. And Master Iron Lotus. This is Master Iron Lotus. He's a friend of mine. He helped solve the crime at the estate of my father when my father turned out to be a murderer. But that's neither here nor there. That I was telling you about. This is Cricket.
Oh, Cricket. It's so lovely to make your acquaintance. But I insisted it was Master Baoshi who took care of that mystery. I am but a humble servant. And it's so nice to see the two of you very close to each other. I say like studying Cricket.
And Cricket goes, I am but a servant. This is, and clearly in that way that says, whatever affections he has for me cannot be because I am just a servant, kind of that sort of thing.
And I really want to try to convince her otherwise. Let's see.
You know who's good at that?
Ooh, who?
Bao Shi.
Oh, that's right. You know what? I'm going to. Speaking of Master Bao Shi, I
Hmm.
say, I know that he would love to talk to the two of you. He's in the middle of
But
a.
I'm just a servant. I don't know why.
Oh, no, no,
Great
no,
detective
no.
says.
But you have eyes and you see things that we cannot. I insist. And I like put my arms around the both of them and I very like, it's a very gentle, but this is Asia. They cannot say no to me.
No, absolutely. As you're taking them over to Bao Shi, are you studying? Are you trying to get a read on her?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So I think once again, once again, water, studying her. Let's see how it goes. 14, dang.
So you've got 3 hold.
Yeah. I will gain a clue,
Okay.
but I will also. I can never resist the declare thing because that's always the reveal of detail. I'm going to reveal that I recognize she has something on her, like that clearly denotes that she's descended from or connected to, like, I want to say royalty in a way.
Yeah, there's something about her
Imperial
manner.
House.
Oh, sorry, what?
Imperial House.
Oh, there we go. Yeah.
Yeah, you're like, okay, that's really weird, because she has that look, but, and I'm going to add on to this before I give you your clue. Like has that look of the Imperial House like you've seen before, but she reminds you of the portraits that you've seen of that late master who was killed 10 years ago. Fei Dayan, the leader of the Green Leaf Society. Does that seem like fair to add on to that?
Yeah, absolutely.
I think as you are moving along and you're kind of pushing them through these areas, your eye catches something. Passing by one of these areas of the estate where there's like they've got markers up of this is being restored, don't go here, blah, 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 blah. And you will notice a couple of pails of dirt and stone. And you keep moving, but that's the kind of dirt or stone that might be taken out if you were excavating or digging somewhere. So evidence of digging or excavation or even searching. So let's do the you bringing them to Bao Shi, resolve that scene. We'll go to Songda and then we'll let Bao Shi call a scene of his own. How's that sound? So Bao Shi, where are you when Iron Lotus comes pushing along these 2 beautiful young people?
I think we run into each other in the hallway. I'm clearly looking for someone. But oh, Lotus, I haven't seen you in ages. Thank goodness you're back around.
Oh, yes, I apologize, Master Bao Shi. I saw that Songda was assisting you so well that I did not want to interrupt. And I think like Bao Shi and I have this like hidden thing where I go, I want you to like intervene between these two. Like there's this, like this is not the first time I've done it.
Yeah, she does this sign, the heart sign.
And
very subtle.
Kind of looking at the two of them. Oh, and you have friends with you. Who are these fine young people?
The Sun Yang steps.
Oh,
You remember
so-
me?
Of course,
Sorry,
of course.
sorry. I should have said. So, are you my elder or
Yes.
my younger? I don't know which. But anyway, I guess this is the great detective, Cricket. This is the great detective that I was telling you about.
Pleased to meet you, Cricket, was it?
She nods. She takes that very humble sort of servant. I mean, it's very clearly a servant. She's dressed like a servant. She must be a servant.
Please, 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 please. None of that. We're friends here. Lotus.
Oh, well, I say, oh, this is so mean. I take the piece of paper that Sun Yang had, and I'll say, I think our dear friend Sun Yang is a bit of a poet, I say.
Oh, hidden talents.
All the blood draws out of Sun Yang's face. Just absolutely ghastly pale. It's doggerel verse, a mere first draft is something I sketched it.
May I? Very talented, I see.
You're too kind, Master Bashi.
And I will kind of give a sly look over towards Cricket. It would appear that you have certainly been inspired.
He says, yes, I have. And she like she's clearly now very embarrassed, as well as trying to keep up this act that she's a servant.
And I see, well, young lady, I would not suggest, of course, that having someone write such fine verse for you should sway your opinion precisely, but do I see a bit of a reciprocation there?
What do you want to roll love on delivery with?
Let's see here.
You have to succeed here.
I guess we're probably gonna go with it's probably more like I guess it's probably like water.
Okay.
Kind of awareness and all of that, and a little wisdom to it. I can see that. All right. Come on, roll well. I do not. I have a 6 and I have no bonds.
Iron Lotus, do you wish to assist?
Yes, I do. I roll to assist. That's right.
So if you have a bond with Iron Lotus, you can just burn that to give him a +1, or you can do the comfort support roll.
Oh, let's see. I will do the comfort and support roll because I don't have a.
Absolutely. Make it
Yeah,
more
let's do
risky. That's
Yeah.
what we want to see.
I have so many bonds, but not with Baoshi at the moment. Okay. Yes. Okay. I will also roll with water. I got an 8.
Woohoo.
Oh,
So you can burn the bond, get it to a 7. You will see her look. You see her look over at Songda, and there's certainly a look of affection, but maybe there's also a look of pain. And she says, there is so much that stands between me and Master Sun Yang, more than you know. And you'll hear, and you will see Pine. Master Baoshi.
Master Pine, I was in fact looking for you.
And I was looking for my servant. Cricket, come along. There are tasks that you need to attend to. And she will bow and sorry, I'm sorry, please excuse me. Let me get this straightened out, Master Baoshi, and then I'll be back to talk with you.
Certainly, certainly.
And you see her kind of, she throws one wistful glance as she's kind of dragged away by Pine, and Sun Yang is like looking. And
I'll throw an arm around Yang and don't worry. In the end, love finds a way.
does it? Has it for you? Roll inner conflict and mark an XP.
Oh, yay. All right. So that'll hit me at 8. Ooh. All right. And inner conflict, I think this is going to be metal. It's control.
Anything but metal for you. You can't roll your style element.
Oh,
with
can't
this.
roll your style for that, can you? No. Then I guess it's going to be probably fire. Passion. Oh, not good at all. A 4.
So go ahead and mark fire.
Yep.
And you will see Songbird Young walking along with this beautiful woman with a train of attendants, and he seems to be hanging on her every word.
I will follow as they walk by and look back at Yang and say, well.
He's looking to you for hope.
I would say it is the pursuit. Yes, that's, if you'll excuse me.
We'll cut there. Song Da.
So I think Songda is like stashing those swords somewhere out of the way, but somewhere sort of awkward, and so he doesn't notice Xiao Chun coming up behind him.
Mr. Da?
I wasn't. Hello.
I'm sorry to bother you. I know, especially at this moment, you must have many things that are weighing on you right now, and many tasks and details and such to take down.
Oh, well, there are some things going on. But did you need something?
No, I just thought I would check in on you and see how your evening was and if it was relaxing. And
Well, it was going well until the screaming and the murder, of course.
Oh yes, the death of my mother. She has been a pivotal in my life since I was brought into the household. But my feelings are mixed. But I think I can only say this to you because you're a historian. You strive for the truth.
Of course, you could tell me anything.
I love my mother, but I love history. I love everything that the Bureau does. It has fascinated me all my life. but I was forbidden from having anything to do with it or applying to join the Bureau or any of those things. My mother said it was not something I could do.
Oh, that's terrible. I too had disagreements with my family over my path. They saw something very different for me, but I knew that living through the histories and making them live for people that came after me was my true calling in the world.
Yes, yes, exactly that. And I know my mother manipulated things. I sent in some materials as a submission to the Bureau, and they were rejected. But I know she must have gotten to them.
Well, that's terrible. No one's passion should be denied like that. You clearly have, and then like, so you sort of see him thinking and like, oh, deep feelings about the subject.
And perhaps,
And that's the sort of passion that you can't manufacture. That's the sort of natural passion that you want to channel into the
yes, to speak the emotional truth.
truth. Yes, speak the truth of the situation. That is the calling of the historian. I should not be saying this, but
Yes,
your story, it rings so deeply and true to my life.
she seems so excited. Really?
It does. If this is truly your
Because I
passion,
really do ship you and Iron Lotus.
what where?
Oh, and she'll.
I no, I will be staying here on the land for
Yes,
now.
absolutely. Is there anything else that you need, Master Songda?
No, I was just, if it seemed like you were, well, if there are any dreams that you have unexpressed, if there are any deep longings that you've been holding back on, I I sympathize and I think I can help you make your dreams come true.
Your words make me so happy. I must go. There are many matters I must attend to. I know that there are bound to be arguments today over what happens next to the Alliance. And I should at least be present for those.
Yes, we will speak again soon.
And she will bow and leave. She didn't notice the swords, like they were obviously there in frame the whole time.
Like Sungda just stops leaning on the door he was leaning on. They come clattering out again.
Bao Shi, who do you want to call a scene with?
I was wanting to see Pine.
Then Pine clearly goes, puts Cricket somewhere safe, you guess, and then comes back to find you. Does it with me like quickly, and they've clearly made a promise to you, and they return with some haste, and they say, "I am sorry for the delay, Master Bao Shi."
I think there was a little look of funk on my face before I look. Oh, no. I thank you very much for agreeing to see me.
I do not have that much time. There are many matters. The death of Master Fan has accelerated what is sure to be tensions amongst the seniors of the house.
I imagine there will be a great deal of turmoil, and of course, well, we must find justice for whoever committed this crime,
Truly.
which is what I wanted to speak with you about. Earlier, we had a chance discussion where I mentioned Lord Yao was here searching for someone. It, if you will pardon me, seemed as though perhaps you were going to look into that. Just an observation, but do you know who it was he was looking for?
Pine sets her face very straight, carefully preparing themselves before they lie to you, and say, I am sorry. With the chaos today, I have not even had a chance to reflect on our discussion last night. And I had hoped to follow up on the query that you gave me with Lord Yao today, but as you can imagine, that is not possible. I will look into this when I can.
I understand. I would imagine that he will be showing the image around quite a bit now that there's been this crime. Surely it was someone that may have been on his short list for causing some trouble.
As I have said, I am not sure, but I will attempt to ascertain that today.
Well, I think I don't want to bother you. Of course, I know you will have quite a lot to deal with.
You can take a bond with Pine simply because you've put them kind of under your thumb at this point. There's that back and forth of like, you kind of know that they're lying. They know they're lying to a detective, that they already know who Lord
Did
Yao
I
is.
spend enough time with him to do a tracing shadow?
That is absolutely your next step.
Excellent. All right. Then I think that's with metal. This is definitely calculation. And thinking over all this. So, roll it. That's a 9.
That
I'll
is
stick
a
with that.
9. And on a 9, tracing shadow. So are you going to let them be aware that you've read them, or are you going to spend a bond to keep that private from them?
Ooh, that's what it is, isn't it?
Yeah, that's your choice right now.
I'm gonna have to give him that bond right back then.
Okay, yeah, that seems fair. Actually, that's
Yeah.
a good transaction. This is going to tie things together. I think you already know what I'm about to tell you, but Cricket is the daughter of Fei Dayan. Remember that Master Sun was looking for a child of Fei Dayan to kill them. And not only that, but there's something deeper that goes on there, some kind of imperial connection or something like it's actually even deeper than that. And they are very worried that Lord Yao is here to kill her.
Gotcha.
Does that seem fair?
Oh yeah, that seems very good. And I will give a little polite bow and let him on his way.
They're still kind of so worrying about things, they don't realize kind of how much they've given away in their conversation with you.
And I was trying to give them an out, kind of, I'm asking about, what the Lord had there, and who, not trying to in any way implicate them as someone of
Oh.
interest.
Absolutely. And they don't take any offense on that because they're too worried about trying to deflect. Let's take our second 5-minute break, bio. When we come back, let's bring the four of you together to talk about things and then to split scenes up. Sound good? So I think the camera takes up a little bit later in the morning in private chambers, table there. And I think that you've ascertained that there's no one in the vicinity to overhear your conversation. Got that settled. Have an eye out. And the four of you have a chance to speak with one another about what you've learned and what you think you should do next. Blue Mountain Scholar, when the camera comes to you, what are you saying? What are you thinking?
I think he is clearly the puzzle swords are very much a part of this. There is a lot of back and forth. I am uncertain who knows what their significance is. I wish that I did, but I do not. And I'm worried that First Orchid is trapped somewhere. I myself, I think that if we could find her, that might give us some answers to who else is searching. Oh, and Chengrokhan gave me their puzzle swords to hold so that they would not be confiscated.
Oh,
Do not speak of this to anyone, please. But we do have them to examine should we need a pair.
I actually have one as well. Well, sort of.
really?
He'll pull out the replica sword and put it on the table and say, someone went to a lot of trouble to make something that looks very much like the thing that was taken.
Where did you find it?
I'll look back and forth across the table. Well, actually, very near this, and he'll put out the scabbard of the actual puzzle sword and say, "This is where it was taken from the scene. The culprit had to trade their own sword for the one they were looking to take, and so he'll pull out just like the first bit of length of the sword. This, whoever owned this sword is who we're looking for."
Let's take a look at that sword. We both lean forward, like in sync from opposite sides of the table. We bump foreheads.
I'll say, Dog, you have practically become a walking armory.
It was a bit awkward.
So does someone make a study roll for the sword?
Want to do that, Sherry?
Sure. I will
Please
do that
make
because
Sherry
my
roll
rolls have been
study.
so good. Okay, so and I'm rolling with +0, I believe.
Yep.
Well, no, actually, I could use water, right, for a study?
Yeah. You the only thing you
Sure,
can't,
I will do
you
that.
can't, there's nothing you can't use.
Okay, good. I'm gonna roll 2d6. I'm gonna add 3. So that's 6 + 3 is a 9.
Okay.
So
that will give you one hold
one hold,
unless
yeah.
someone wants to help you, which they could do because they are on scene.
Well, if I'm looking with you, I suppose I could give a help.
Let's have you roll.
All right.
Hopefully it won't make everything go terribly wrong.
No.
I'll roll with water as well. That's a 10.
That is a
Nice.
10. So
That's good.
Sherry, you can bump that to a 10 for you. So you have 2 hold.
Okay.
And then Tyler, do you want to clear an element or let Janai record a bond with you?
Give a bond.
Okay.
Then I can assist you later on.
You have 2 hold, Blue Mountain Scholar.
No.
You can make a couple declarations. You could declaration and a question. You could ask a couple questions. You could spend that for a clue.
Let's see. Well, everyone else has gotten a clue on the board, so I would like to get one too. It's just my competitive nature says that I should get one.
Interesting. Let's see here.
Unless it's incredibly ill-suited, at which point I can make declaration.
Now, I think that when Song Da pulls that blade all the way out of that scabbard there, I think that you will spot that there's something else odd about the scabbard. And you kind of turn it and you realize that it's very well made for this. But like their papers can be slid down if done with care, and you will draw those out. And you will see, let me think how I want to do this. What's the best way? I'm torn. I've got two clues to give here, and I'm trying to figure out. Well, let's go all in.
Okay.
It is a document that seems to suggest that there is a lost imperial line that is connected to the Greenleaf Society. This is a very dangerous secret. It would mean that Faye Dayan had imperial blood. And maybe why he was killed. I don't know yet. We'll find out.
And that would mean that the whole conspiracy for his death goes all the way up to the throne. Ah, now I see why the puzzle blades will make all hell break loose.
I am curious, and I'll pull out the scroll case. How easy is it for someone to get an advanced copy of a history?
Well, I mean, I suppose if you wanted a draft of one of my upcoming reports, I could make an extra copy for you.
I will pull out. It would seem that Master Fun had a report already. I believe this is yours for when we first met you.
Oh,
I found it on the body.
yes, well, you see, it seems the family in general might have a bit of interest in the Bureau of Legends. Master Fon's daughter, Xiaochun, has shown a deep and abiding passion for the histories of the Bureau.
I see.
I had known that she had tracked down some of the writings that I had submitted recently. Maybe this is where she got them from.
I would think that this one in particular, well, as we all are well aware, this does tie in a bit with all that we're discovering here. Perhaps she retrieved it in hopes of finding something to forewarn her, or perhaps aid in these puzzled swords. Did you mention the puzzle sword in your history? I admit I have not read it all.
Oh, well, of course I gave a description of the sword. Here on flips through here, and what little we learned along the way. I gave a interview here where we found out about it.
Do you think now? How much do we know about? Well, how I'm trying to remember her name. Rojagong.
Charogong.
Yeah. Was she invited to be here?
She showed up and no one turned her away at the gate.
But someone had to assign her quarters. That's been clearly made. So someone vouched for her, or led her to something, or somebody, like, there was clearly, she couldn't have just walked in right as it stands.
Yeah.
Then Master Fawn would have known that she was in possession of one of these puzzle swords. It's here in the histories.
Yeah.
And Soldat, did you mention her association with what, First Orchid? Is that it?
First Orchid is Cheng Rogong's friend who's missing.
Yeah.
The
They were
point
associates.
of the histories is to be true, not to hide things.
Blue Mountain, do you think perhaps it was Master Fawn who has taken First Orchid?
All I know is First Orchid is almost certainly held away outside of her volition, so that is certainly possible. And sort of stops and says, Master Fang, however, had many more things at their disposal to handle First Orchid than, I suppose, holding them, though they may have interrupted their searches.
And is the duplicate sword that we have there, I'm guessing it looks different than the one that we've seen previously.
Yes, you know that the puzzles, that there are multiple puzzle swords,
Mhm.
and they're different and they fit together.
Does this one fit in the scabbard?
Which,
The counterfeit.
The counterfeit.
no, I don't think so.
Okay.
So
But but many swords could fit in a scabbard. So
it doesn't, but it doesn't fit.
I think we need a study roll on this, because I think we
Gotcha.
need to establish this as a fact or not fact.
All right, should I roll a
Yeah.
study to see?
You're
Okay.
at, let's do that.
All right. I hate to keep going to the well, but I feel like this is still calculation.
Oh, let's burn that to the ground.
I'm gonna get burnt here eventually. Rolling. That's 10.
That is a 10. So you've got 2 hold. You can make a declaration. You could ask a question. You can spend all of it to establish a clue. What would you like?
I think I'm going to declare something. I haven't yet today,
Sure.
and I love doing it. It does not fit.
Does not fit. So this counterfeit puzzle sword, you try to put it in the scabbard that you know held a real puzzle sword, and it doesn't fit. Now, yeah.
So it probably, the one that was in this scabbard, this isn't a counterfeit of it.
Correct.
Meaning there are 3 at least in play. And then for my second one, anybody got an idea? We want to know. I mean, I feel like probably we should know something, ask about something on the sword or do something on, okay.
Yeah, I made a note to myself just to remember to go through and discuss this, but I think the thing that goes, essentially we do have the other 2 puzzle swords, so we can look at the scabbard to see what is it that would help us identify when we had found the puzzle sword that went to this scabbard.
Okay, that sounds good.
So you can see that the puzzle sword, like they're actually kind of in thin layered pieces. There's a core to them, and then there are very cleverly attached pieces on it. And when you look at the one that Cheng Rogong has given you, because the coloration and such, you can tell that she has assembled the sword from multiple puzzle swords. She must have gotten pieces from very different ones and figured out the puzzle and put them together. There are still places where pieces could go. And your sense is that there's at least 1 or 2 pieces on each of these puzzle swords and there are lots of fake ones that won't fit. But like eventually, once you have all of them, you can put them on one sword and that sword will be very different once it's all assembled. So I think one of the things you can look at is some markings and some coloration. There are some bits on the swords where it's like things stick out a little, like weird tabs and things like that. And you'll look at the scabbard and you'll realize that this sword, whatever sword was taken, must have some kind of like round knock at the top, close to the hilt, because the scabbard is made that way so that it can fit that.
Okay. And I go, so let us consider that the person that did this, or I think this seemed to be hastily done. Is that correct, Sangda? Like it was tucked into this hiding place hastily, was your sense of it?
The counterfeit?
Yes.
No, there was a whole built trapdoor, and it was a built-in hiding place. It was something that had been prepared and carefully hidden.
Okay.
In Master Fawn's room.
In Master Fawn.
Yes. Now the sword slid into the sheath where the other puzzle sword was stolen. That was something done on the fly.
Can I look at that sword? May I make a study, because I did know Master Fawn, no, my uncle knew Master Fawn,
Right.
and I had met them at one time. So my sense is to go, can I see anything that suggests that this is Master Fawn's sword or one of Master Fawn's swords?
Let's have you roll.
Okay. Again, I'm rolling and adding 0 because I desperately need to do a comfort and support at some point.
Yes, you do.
Yes.
The Death Star will be fully operational.
I know. I rolled a 10 though, so That's like the
Father.
second one in the entire series. So there you go.
Two hold.
To hold. Okay, so let's I'm going to declare a fact.
Sure.
And I'm going to declare that, in fact, I recognize the sword pommel from when I was a tiny child and I met her and
Okay.
saw her because she had essentially those green leaves, like there's a porcelain piece on the pommel of it that has like essentially instead of blue and white, it's green and white, and it's like, you know, essentially a beautiful leaf pattern.
So the sword that is in the scabbard is in fact Master Fawn's sword.
And
You have
we
one more
know,
hold.
yeah. So I think my next question to ask is, where did Master Fawn hide the real sword that she took out, since she went there as she was dying?
It wasn't there. So that means one of two things. Either the killer then came upon her and took that from her, or she gave it to someone else. Given the way that you saw the body and so on, given the way things are set out, you don't think the killer found her there. I think Bao Shi and Song Da's observation of the scene would indicate to them, if the killer had been there, they would have done
They would have been a struggle.
right, and they probably would have searched the place and maybe found the counterfeit sword. So she gave the blade to someone in the household. Does that seem like fair information?
It does.
You will hear like very much raised voices now outside in the main part of the estate. And there's like a pretty loud clamor going on. And as you kind of go to look out, you can see that various members of the Verdant Sword Alliance are gathered. I mean, and remember, this includes several different groups,
Mhm.
are in different places, and there's clearly some argument going on. You can see that Silver Nightfall has a group of people gathered around him. Yi Feng, that young man, has a group of people gathered around him. There's the wild-haired Yi Rong. He has nobody around him, but he's standing up on essentially a platform to give himself some height and presence. And then probably just by a little margin, the largest group is gathered around Pagan the Knight. You will note that Pine is staying kind of at the back. And you also notice that there are representatives from the other houses, including Sun Yang has gotten yanked into this.
Oh, poor Sun Yang. Someone needs to go and make sure he survives this.
And there seems to be like an argument right now about who should be making the decisions about what goes on here on the estate. Like they, as a wedge issue to who's going to be the leader, who's making the decisions right now, and that seems to be and it's kind of going back and forth. What do you guys want to do? Everybody's gathered out here, so that maybe is to your advantage of talking to people or searching places. What do you think? Iron Lotus, we haven't heard from you in a while. So let me check in with you.
Yeah, I think I want to, like, as I watch them looking at the puzzle swords, I keep thinking about how First Orchid is still missing. And I think I want to take advantage of the situation to search for the first orchid.
Okay. So does that feel like do you have the hunt move, or are you just doing this as a study?
Yeah, I think I'm doing it as a study. So whether or not I find her, I mean, hopefully I
Absolutely.
do. Hopefully I do. Okay. All right. So I'm rolling with water. A 10.
A 10. So you have 2 hold.
I do. And I'm going to use the 2 hold to gain a clue.
Okay. That not give you her. Just telling you that. Does that seem fair? I'm just telling you.
Yeah.
Okay. I think that you will find yourself moving back to that area that you saw earlier, to the area that's kind of closed off, and you will take a look around there. And as you're doing that, you will see that there's kind of a concealed spot, because this is sort of back towards the back of the estate. And you will find a place that looks to you like a hidden squatter encampment. Like somebody has clearly been here for a while on the estate grounds, and concealing their presence. They might have been here before the people returned to rebuild the place, or they might have come here since then, but they clearly been here for at least a couple of weeks. Does that seem like fair info for a clue? Sangda,
Absolutely.
let me come to you then.
Ooh, could I also say I'm
Oh, please.
stealing some clothes that I find here.
Oh,
Just in
absolutely.
case.
They're kind of a little more rough, a little more barbaric looking kind of clothing. Good disguise material. Sangda, let's come to you.
I think Song Da is sort of struck by this repeated example of like these bureau reports and these very early things and these like insider connections and things being here from the Bureau of Legends. So with everybody focused on the conflict, I think I want to take the opportunity to like search the house, and especially Master Fan and what's the daughter's name? Xiao Chun's rooms, to see if I can find anything else, any other reports or any other things connected to the bureau here.
Sure, let's have you roll.
This would be fire, because this would be tied into his like the core of his historian training.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
That's a 9.
That is a 9. Are you happy with that 9? Because don't forget, on a 7 to 9 now with a study, you could get in trouble and get that hold. Get 2 hold.
Yeah, I wanna get a clue out of this.
Okay, you want a clue out of this?
So I like trouble for the hold to get it up to 2 and spend.
You will move around. You're looking through. There are a number of seniors of the different places, kind of quickly moving from room to room, checking things out. You can see that there's Pine's chambers, There's Xiao Chun's chambers, there's Master Fan's chambers, there's Silver Nightfall's chambers, there's Yi Feng's chambers, those that are out here. And as you are moving through Silver Nightfall's chambers and doing quick casing, checking, all of that, you will find in Silver Nightfall's Silver Nightfall's papers, there is a note from Guo Botong, our masked person from the last case, in which he thanks Silver Nightfall for the training and the information and his assistance, and then says, I am, and Guo Botong ends by saying, and I am heading to the tournament today. So clearly, Silver Nightfall has a connection to him, but also clearly did some training of him.
Huh.
Does that seem like a fair and interesting clue?
Yeah, and I like Songda gets this far away, hurt look in his eyes as he's thinking about Guo Tong and that whole situation.
And what are you doing here? Says this voice behind you.
What?
And he will turn around and you will see this woman dressed in green. She's got the color clothing of the verdant leaves, but you haven't interacted with her before. And she has her sword out and she has it leveled at your chest.
You've gotta help me. There's a fight about to happen down in the yard, and my brush, it's dry. I have no ink. I got lost looking for my room, looking for more ink. I need more ink.
Hearts and minds. What do you want to roll that with?
I think this is water. This is adjusting to the situation, and I'm looking for my ink, and it's water.
Okay.
It's an 8.
That is an 8.
Hearts and minds. 7 to 9, they do what you want. Or instead. Gotcha.
So I think they say, you are coming downstairs with me to speak to whoever is in charge. Since I've seen you rummaging through these rooms. And she will start to march you downstairs. You can observe her and you can ask 2 questions. But she is going to go and tattle you out. And by the way, I think everybody may know, but this is Little Plum. A32.
Gotcha.
She was the one being picked on in the springs last time.
I think Songda's gonna be sort of stammering up like, well, it wasn't even like I was anywhere even very important, was I? And I want her to tell me about Silver Nightfall? What does she respect about him, or like why does she think his room's important?
I think that you have the sense that she doesn't have a lot of respect for uh, Silver Nightfall, but she definitely considers him like somebody's going to be in charge here, and it might be Silver Nightfall. And like her attitude is that like doesn't particularly have a great deal of respect for him, but somebody's going to end up here running things. What's your other question? And then I'm going to come to Tyler, and then I'm going to come to Sherry.
So when was the last time that the masked man Gualbo Tong visited him?
Tong never came here. Tong met with Silver Nightfall long before we returned back to the city. And I haven't seen him in what, 6, 7 months? Does that sound fair?
Sure.
Baoshi. There's still this hubbub going on. Songdan, Iron Lotus have headed out to search in different directions. What do you want to do?
I suppose I'm going to get close in to kind of listen to what's going on and maybe go up to, is it Yi Rong?
Mm-hmm.
Since he's all by himself sort of ranting there, I could probably get a bit more of a talk with. And Master Wrong.
And to correct something on the E wrong thing, he's not the one who wants to talk to Blue Mountain Scholar.
Right.
It's actually Songbird Yun, but Songbird Yun like tried to avoid E wrong. That was the whole sort of trigger for that. Just to clarify that, because I think I must have not made that clear. So E wrong looks frustrated by the fact that people aren't paying attention to him. And he will look at you and he goes, "You are not a member of the Verdant Sword Alliance."
No, I am investigating the death of Master Fawn.
You are a magistrate, or are you in one of the servants, a lackey to Lord Yao?
Neither. I am a consulting detective.
Never heard of that.
And yet I am still.
Fair enough.
I was noticing with all of this hubbub that there are many who might be advantaged by the death of Master Fawn.
That is true. But there are many who would have been advantaged by Master Fawn's retirement equally.
It is true. And that is quite odd to me. There's really no reason for anyone who sought the position to have gone to this extreme. So why would you think someone, if it isn't for the position, you knew Master Fawn, who would be interested in her death?
There are many enemies that our order has made over the years. Old histories, you should know that, detective. It could be anyone who holds an old grudge against us. There are those who are present here who were dismissed from our house, and those who have served in lesser capacities than they might wish.
Mhm. but no one in particular rises to mind.
If I had to judge a person whose ambition outweighs their intelligence, it would be my son, Yifeng.
I see.
But that is an observation, not an accusation.
Well, thank you. I'll sort of nod and give him his distance, and I see why people aren't crowding around him.
Yeah. Are you doing tracing shadow on him? Are you taking that risk?
Yeah, I think that's
Okay.
probably a good idea. All right, and I'm going to roll with. I have to scoot over and see my characters. I think this is going to be. This is probably wood. This is probably just pure on stab at the dark sort of thing. Pure curiosity. Ugh, that's a 5.
That is a 5.
No coming back from that.
We can get you to a 6, but I don't know.
No, I'm done for.
I think he turns to you and he says, "You know, I saw you earlier today."
Really?
Yes. I have been a senior here, a master for many years, and there is nothing I quite enjoy than watching the gaze of a young man who pines after someone. That one, the butterfly boy. That's the one, right?
We are acquaintances, I suppose.
That's all right. That's all right, detective. I enjoy collecting the weaknesses of people. And now I have yours. Good day.
Good day.
Mark your element 2.
Mm-hmm.
Blue
It's
Mountain
Chihuahua.
Scholar.
My understanding of what I'm seeing right here is it's these 4 factions and they're standing around arguing with each other.
Yeah,
Who
there's
ought
an
to
argument
take-
going on about like, okay, there are decisions that have to be made right now about what's happening in the household. Like who is to be the one who is making those decisions. And it definitely looks to you like right now, Peony Knight is probably going to come out on top.
uh, I have not rolled well this evening, but it makes sense that I step forward, suggest that they only go in circles, arguing amongst themselves. They should choose a neutral party, petition to them. That would be the way of things. I can essentially do that. So I think I will try what, Hearts and Minds or something?
Could do Hearts and Minds. You could directly challenge kind of a social duel with Peony Knight, who's kind of gained the edge.
Okay.
You could, you have Legend of the Mountain. If you're telling me what you want to defend, you could defend something.
Yeah, I think, how about defending decorum, if that makes any sense? I am like, if that makes any, does that make any sense?
Defending the decorum of the
Yeah,
house.
yeah, because essentially Master Fawn is gone and they are all making a mockery of the many leaves or their alliance.
I like
with
it.
this
Let's
whole-
see you roll and mess this up.
Okay, yes. Well, I guess since I am defending, I use my big roll. So here we go. Oh God. Why did I say anything? Yeah, rolling, adding 3. 8.
An
Um,
8.
Yeah. It's wildly mediocre.
So, no, on a hit, I mean, this works.
Okay.
But you can mark an element of your choice, or you can let me complicate the situation.
Interesting. Can let you how would you complicate the situation? May I ask that? May I make a choice? Can we treat it like a devil's bargain, or do I?
Oh,
just have
sure,
to make-
absolutely.
Sure.
I think that PbtA Knight is going to perceive you as an enemy who has to be dealt with.
Oh, awesome. That's definitely what I want. In all of my guises, I would love to go toe to toe with PbtA Knight.
So choose one from the list. You defend them, like you stand up for the house.
I stand up for,
decorum.
yeah, exactly.
And you calm people down that this is inappropriate at this time. It's a period of mourning. Kind of step forward on that. What do you want as your effect?
Let me see.
The first and second, sorry, first and third of those options are possible.
I guess who is the one who is protected?
It would be essentially the Verdant Sword Alliance who
Okay.
we take a bond with.
Okay, yeah, then that's what I will do.
Okay. And I think that Lord Yao will finally come forward. He's been like hanging back through this, but I think once you kind of make this thing, Lord Yao come forward and say, "You speak wisely, old man. I will be taking charge of any decisions that need to be made here until such time as a leader is formally chosen and appointed. Now, there is a funeral to prepare for and a murder to investigate, so disperse, all of you." And he will turn and thank you, Blue Mountain Scholar.
I love them.
It's
More
good.
and more every
Yes.
passing second. I like look at him peering like, could there really have been something between him and Master Fawn?
That's a good question.
I can't know. Maybe he leered at her. I don't know.
And I think that's where we're going to stop. I think we've hit that mark of moving on. We've got a bunch of clues on the table. We've got some details that are out there. We will, move to more interactions and things on the table next time. Let's do that experience though that I forgot to do at the end of last session correctly. This time, Bao Shi. Well, we definitely hit one of your entanglements.
Yeah, I think probably one.
Okay, that's 2 points for you. Song Da.
I think one as well.
Yeah. Certainly a lot of things about the bureau there, the interesting stuff. So 2 points there. Blue Mountain Scholar.
You're muted, Sherry.
I got into the middle of things with Songbird Yuan and sort of putting him off his game, at least. But I don't, nothing with Song Da and
Okay.
Iron Lord. I mean, other than they're doing their thing, but
So 2 points.
yeah, that's fine.
And Iron Lotus.
Yeah, I think I got to hit both, even if albeit briefly, but it felt significant.
Yeah. So 3 points for you. If you don't mind, I would like to do a quick stars and wishes. We have 2 more sessions left, so we've got plenty of time to hunt down clues, talk to people, establish what's going on, find our villain, deal with our villain, all of that. Sherry, you've been at first player position, first chair tonight. That's what I'm going to call it now, first chair.
First
Uh,
year.
For the evening. So can we start with Stars Wishes with you?
Sure. Stars, I am impressed. Sangda has been awesome on the comedic thing. It is interesting to see him and his quick reactions to the opportunities that open up to him or the setbacks he faces. It has been a joy to watch, Patrick. Baushi, you have been clever and officious and wonderfully vulnerable. And that was very fun to see. And Lettuce, you are the master of this game. All of us think we are clever, and yet we failed to notice just who is actually manipulating everything. It's been awesome. It was good stuff, Lowell. Thank you. Those are my stars. Let's see, wishes. Yeah. I got to figure out how to engage and then also do the things I want to do in some ways. I'm having just trouble doing both, if that makes any sense.
Mhm.
So, yep.
But certainly the pressure is not, there's not a huge amount of pressure. We're not under a time crunch or anything for getting clues. So feel free to study, interact, things like that, develop those, that sort of all the other layers of this that you want to. We can make time for that.
Okay.
Jamie.
Yeah, so big star to Lowell talking about Sangda and Iron Lotus being shipped. I really screeched behind the microphone and made the most bizarre laughing sounds. I'm really glad for playing online where I get to mute myself. And but yeah, I think also like Lowell, I thought you handled it well. Like it's very hard to be in the GM position when the players are asking a lot of questions about the clues. So I thought you handled that section really well when you were talking about the puzzle swords. I really enjoyed that. I thought that was very, very cool. And I also enjoyed testing out the new mechanic of like rewriting the facets, connecting it to the characters. That was super, super fun. I really enjoyed that. Yeah, and then big stars too. Sangda, just like I felt like Sangda went on like this roller coaster today, like doing really well as a detective, and then getting caught, and then remembering the masked person. It was really fun to watch that roller coaster of Sangda go about. I really appreciate both Sherry and Tyler putting up with me when I leaned into the patriarchy and the depression to protect Lost Song Shania. Super fun. And I really loved and I really appreciate Loa suggesting I take the lovebirds to Baoshi. That was a super fun scene. I really had so much fun with that. So yeah, those are my stars.
It was nice because it allowed us to pay off a wish that Tyler had made at the end of last session. So I felt good about that. Any wishes you have?
Yeah, I'm really enjoying the mystery so far. I think in terms of the wishes, I noticed like we kept getting caught up in some of the more finer details. So I've been trying to write down some of those in the active mystery notes, just so that it's because like, right, there's a difference between what is a clue and what is just important information to have, right? And so
yeah, we're getting a lot of the additional like establishing info.
Yeah, just so it's easier for everybody, right? So
yeah,
like the very important information about the puzzle sword being in a special compartment, so on and so forth. But yeah, but really good stuff.
Awesome. Tyler.
Huge stars all around. I thought everybody was just spot on tonight. There were a lot of cool things. We interacted with NPCs a lot. Even when we were kind of together, we were like very focused on stuff rather than each other. But seeing everybody and how they deal with NPCs was fantastic. I always loved seeing Sangda kind of jump back and forth. I love the notable historian to one person, and then with her in your room again, back to the flutter. It was a nice back and forth. I really enjoyed Iron Lotus, Jamie, when you had the lovers there. I thought that was so sweet. The concern for them, and we ended up learning a lot out of it at the same time too, which is really cool. It was just a neat scene. I Sherry, you're so good at tracking down things, and you do it so well in character. I liked your conversation, the walk, the walk and talk was really nice, and it just, you always stay right onto what that character is, and still manage to get things, and that is just such talent. It's really pretty to watch. And Lowell, I don't often look at like agendas. I'll read that as how to pick a character,
Mhm.
but I go back over and over to the character agendas in this game. I really like, for the Bravo, the enjoy every moment. It is always sort of this focus I bring back to what I'm doing, so that, everybody's so entrenched with dark secrets and all these. And I always feel like Bao sort of dilettantes. I don't know if he's a great person. He probably lives for people to die. I mean, but it's all that agenda. Going back to it is just a nice reference to give me reason to move forward. So well done. Just that little bit of writing, just well,
Awesome.
nicely done. Wishes. I want a chance to have a few scenes where we maybe talk outside the mystery. I especially personally would like to talk with Iron Lotus. There's so much that I need to talk with Lotus about, and having spoken with your sister, and there's things I need to discuss.
Yeah, let's see if we can get early on next time some decompressed scenes where people are sitting around drinking or eating or whatnot.
Maybe
Especially
get some comfort supports.
to comfort supports and to clear people's elements. That makes sense. Patrick.
This was a super good session. Lowell, I really love how you're consistently reaching back to tie things back into like loose threads from previous ones. It's making it's bringing the whole overarching conspiracy very much to life, and it's so intertwined with the current murder that we're looking at that it's sort of interestingly difficult with every clue that we find to be like, okay, is this related to the murder, or is this like part of the conspiracy, or is this like telling us something about both, or it's all very in the wash right now. And that feels very neat, and very much like we found ourselves lost in the middle of this deep conspiracy that we barely even noticed that we were getting lost in until we're just like in the thick of it. It's very neat. Jamie, I Golden Beauty's whole like melodramatic performance of gender, her like throwing herself onto her ovarian martyrdom to save poor Sherry, and to put daggers into the hearts of everyone there, just looking and blaming and accusing and simpering and sighing, and it was just amazing. It was so good. I'm really enjoying that side of Golden Peony, because Iron Lotus is often so very like demure, quiet, sort of like seconding to other people, and so I love seeing Golden Peony being like aggro submissive. And then for both Sherry and Tyler, I really enjoyed.
Sorry,
um,
I broke Patrick.
I really enjoyed getting to see the like romantic, awkward, blushy side of both of you. Like I know we've seen some romance storylines out of Baoshi before, but the like attraction to the guard captain and your like blushing sort of crush on Songbird Yoon do feel very different. This feels very fresh and new. And it's neat to see Janai getting sort of like caught up in emotions for the first time here on screen.
Awesome. Wishes?
Um, I really want to follow up with ba, 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 too many names. Silver Nightfall. That whole connection back to Gabotong and the teaching and the cursed style and all of that. Like that's I really want to dig back into that.
Awesome. Absolutely. We can certainly do that. I'll leave you with one thought or implication that actually more ties into Iron Lotus. If the Verdant Sword Alliance as a whole is really at the heart of the conspiracy, and if they had assassins, weren't your parents killed by the conspiracy? We'll take that up next time. So that is on the table as well. Thank you. I'm going to stop the recording.